the best or most virtuous form of struggling in the path of God is speaking truth to power, is speaking the truth in front of an oppressor, in front of a tyrant, and you are putting yourself in danger. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. Bismillah, alhamdulillah, wa salatu wa salamu ala rasulillah wa ba'd. Ibrahim alayhi salam is a symbol of courage, strength, bravery, reliance, resilience, steadfastness, and patience. There are several times throughout his life where he is willing to sacrifice his own personal safety, his own comfort, his reputation for the sake of the truth. This is a common theme that is seen throughout his entire life. This willingness to sacrifice for the sake of the truth, for the sake of bringing people towards belief in Allah alone without any partners. And we see this willingness once again in his conversation with Namrud. Namrud is the name of the king who was in charge of ancient Babylon. That was the name of the ruler of that time. And that ruler, just like his people, was also a polytheist. He is someone who believed in associating partners with Allah. And he himself claimed to have divine powers, to have divine abilities. So in Surah Al-Baqarah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gives us a snippet from a conversation that Ibrahim alayhi salam had with Namrud. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, أَلَمْ تَرَ إِلَى الَّذِي حَاجَ إِبْرَاهِيمَ فِي رَبِّهِ أَنْ آتَاهُ اللَّهُ الْمُلْكِ. That, O Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, are you aware of the one who argued with Ibrahim alayhi salam about his Lord because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala had given him mulk, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala had given him sovereignty, power, authority, and kingship. That Namrud is a king, and power is one hell of a drug. This is something that it just consumes a person and it really intoxicates them. And when you look at human history and you observe certain trends and you observe certain human behaviors, oftentimes you are going to find that the root cause of tyranny is that people become drunk for power. And once they become drunk with power, they think they're untouchable. They think they're invincible. And they want that authority. They want that control. They want to be in charge, and they want people to be subservient to them. This is something that we have seen throughout history, and this is something that we're witnessing in the current era as well. So he became drunk with power. And Ibrahim alayhi salam is telling him that, look, you're not a God. You're not in charge. The real true God is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So, إِذْ قَالَ إِبْرَاهِيمُ رَبِّيَ الَّذِي يُحْيِي وَيُمِيتُ. Remember when Ibrahim alayhi salam told him that my Lord is the one who gives life and the one who gives death. That my Lord is the Almighty, the All-Powerful. And part of His might and power is that He and He alone is the one who gives life. This miracle of bringing a physical body to life that can only be done by Allah. وَيُمِيتُ. And He is the only one who gives death, who causes the soul to be removed from that physical body. But perhaps Namrud, because of his arrogance, because of his pride, because of his stubbornness, and because he was drunk with power, he didn't understand what was being referenced. So he says, أَنَا أُحْيِي وَأُمِيتُ. I also give life and death. And he demonstrated that by bringing two prisoners. And he said, as for the first one, I'm going to pardon him, so I've given him life. And as for the second one, I'm giving him the death sentence. I've given him death. So Ibrahim alayhi salam realized that he's speaking with someone who perhaps has lost the ability to think clearly. That their heart, their mind, their judgment, it has been clouded by their love for power, by their authority, by their tyranny. So he says that my Lord is the one who causes the sun to rise from the east. فَأْتِ بِهَا مِنَ الْمَغْرِبِ. So why don't you cause it to rise from the west? So once he heard that, he realized that he is powerless. فَبُهِتَ الَّذِي كَفَرَ. The one who disbelieved this king was dumbfounded. He had no idea how to respond. He was left speechless. وَاللَّهُ لَا يَهْدِي الْقَوْمَ الظَّالِمِينَ. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He does not guide the people of wrongdoing. So this is a very unique conversation that's taking place between Ibrahim alayhi salam and a powerful tyrant. And that is something that requires strength, courage, and bravery. And that strength can only come from faith. It can only come from iman. It can only come from conviction. And that ability to speak truth to power is one of the greatest forms of struggle in jihad within Islam. The Prophet ﷺ told us, أفضل الجهاد كلمة حق عند سلطان جائر. That the best or most virtuous form of jihad, the best or most virtuous form of struggling in the path of God is speaking truth to power, is speaking the truth in front of an oppressor, in front of a tyrant. And that's one of the most virtuous forms of struggle because it requires sacrifice. It requires courage and strength and bravery, and you are putting yourself in danger. You are willing to sacrifice your safety, your security, even your life, even your property for the sake of the truth. And we see that demonstrated in the life of Ibrahim alayhi salam over and over again. And this incident, this story, is also a powerful reminder about the negative consequences of being arrogant. Arrogance and pride is something that blinds someone from the truth. That when a person becomes too arrogant, when they become too proud, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala actually humiliates them. He lowers them. And when a person behaves with humility, when they have a humble attitude, when they have a humble mindset, when they deal with people with humility, Allah actually elevates them. The Prophet ﷺ told us that مَنْ تَوَاضَعَ لِلَّهِ رَفَعَهُ اللَّهُ. Whoever behaves with humility for the sake of Allah, Allah elevates that person. And we experience that in our own lives. That when you come across someone who just espouses humility in their speech, in their behavior, we are naturally attracted towards them. We're drawn towards them. And we're going to give them honor. We're going to give them respect, dignity, and status. وَمَنْ تَكَبَّرَ وَضَعَهُ اللَّهُ. And whoever behaves with arrogance, whoever behaves with pride, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala lowers them. No one likes a person of pride. They are, you want to stay away from them, you want to avoid them, and they will be humiliated and disgraced. And that is exactly what happened to Namrud. That because of his pride, because of his arrogance, he refused to accept the truth. And as a result, he was dumbfounded, he was dumbstruck, he didn't know what to say, he didn't know what to do. And because of that, he veiled himself from God's divine guidance. And that's another very important point to reflect on. That guidance, hidayah, is one of the most valuable gifts Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gives to any human being. It is invaluable. It is priceless. But we as human beings, we can do certain things that make us deserving and worthy of that guidance. That if we are in tune with our fitrah, if we are in tune with that natural disposition to believe in Allah and to recognize what's right and wrong and to try to do what's right and stay away from what's wrong, then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will bless us with that guidance and He will keep us on the straight path. However, if someone is disconnected from their fitrah, and if someone doesn't recognize good as good and bad as bad, and they're engaged in wrongdoing, they're engaged in dhulm, either against themselves or against others, then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala veils their heart. And that veil becomes a barrier that prevents them from receiving divine guidance. Wallahu la yahdi al-qawma al-zalimin. That Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala does not guide wrongdoing people, those who do dhulm. And dhulm, it's usually translated as injustice, oppression. The linguistic meaning is وَضْعُ الشَّيْءِ فِي غَيْرِ مَحَلِّ, is to put something in the wrong place. And there's different categories of dhulm. There's dhulm that we have in terms of our relationship with Allah. And that's by not recognizing His oneness, His existence, His might, His glory, His power, not living our lives according to His divine guidelines and rules. There's dhulm that we do to ourselves by sinning and engaging in acts of disobedience. And then there's dhulm that we do to others by being unjust, by not giving them their rights. So we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to give all of us the courage and the ability to speak truth to power. And may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make all of us those who have humility. وصلى اللهم على نبينا ومولانا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم.
لبيك اللهم لبيك لبيك لا شريك لك لبيك لبيك الحمد والنعمة لك والملك لا شريك لك.